I do a live stream every Saturday on different subjects. Before recording this video, the last one was about F1 Championship leader Oscar Piastri. We looked at the races he was outstanding in, but also at the races where he struggled. As it turned out, the young Aussie lost a lot of points due to other factors, rather than skill issues. His 2024 season was kinda underrated. I'm Wimbo. Here's 3 seconds to leave a like. We all know how he's doing this season. Off the top of my head, I can remember only one error that cost him a bunch of points, and that was sliding off track at his home race in Australia. He won 3 out of 5 races, where his teammate Lando Norris took the other win and Max Verstappen won in Japan. This made him the title favourite straight away with the bookies, who had Norris as the winner first. So they must have been a little surprised by the jump Oscar Piastri made over the winter. Now, maybe it's because Oscar Piastri isn't from England, and the British media doesn't hype him up as much as they did with Lando Norris last season. Or maybe it's because he's very calm and collected, and, above all, very modest. But he just seemed to have appeared as the #1 title contender out of nowhere. I, amongst many, thought he was bad with tyre preservation and his qualifying skills were lacking. But he seems to have fixed those shortcomings. At the moment, I think he's better equipped to beat Max Verstappen than Lando Norris ever was. A strong move like he did against Verstappen in Jeddah is something that was lacking in Norris's driving last season. So yeah, everything is set up perfectly for a smashing season for Oscar Jack Piastri. Now, if you look what he managed to do last season, in his second year, it shouldn't have been a surprise. Okay. For all you Aussies yelling at your screens now, saying, "Crikey mate, we bloody knew this ages ago." I know I'm a little focused on the driver from my country, as you all know. Anyway, in 2024, I think he had a season that went a little under the radar, and I'll tell you exactly why. Oscar Piastri's season started with McLaren in a car that wasn't up to par with the Red Bull package yet. So Max Verstappen and even Sergio Perez finished ahead of the Papaya duo in the first 5 races. In Bahrain, Saudi Arabia, Australia, Japan and China, Piastri started with solid point finishes, including an 8th in Bahrain and China and 4th in Saudi Arabia and Australia. His Japanese Grand Prix resulted in an 8th place finish, maintaining the perfect scoring streak at Suzuka. Then we went to Miami, just like we're going to Miami this weekend. This is where Lando Norris scored his first win and Piastri finished 13th. This race had more to it than the results showed. Piastri had a great start and slotted in behind Leclerc in P3, after Perez almost took Verstappen out in a kamikaze dive in turn 1. In lap 4, Piastri overtook Leclerc with a slick move on the inside, so he was about 2 seconds behind Verstappen. Leclerc pitted first, then Verstappen, who had hit a bollard along the way, and Piastri was in the lead. Lap 28, Piastri gets called in and Norris inherits the lead. Right after the pit stop, Kevin Magnussen and Logan Sargent crashed, and a safety car was called. This gave Norris a very handy pit stop, and to make matters worse, the safety car picked up the wrong driver, so Norris stayed in the lead. If that hadn't happened, then, well, in the famous words of Max Verstappen,
I mean, it's always if, right? If my mom had balls, she would be my dad, so yeah.
So Oscar went from the lead to P3 with that whole ordeal, and that was just hard luck. All of a sudden, the Ferrari of Carlos Sainz had found pace, and those two fought a nice fight with elbows out. They swapped places a few times until Piastri got damaged. He had to pit again, and that saw him finish 13th. Oh, bummer. In Italy, at the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix in Imola, he qualified 2nd but was demoted to 5th for impeding Kevin Magnussen, and finished 4th in the race. A team penalty kept him off the front row, costing a potential win. Then, at the Monaco Grand Prix, he secured his first podium of the season with a 2nd place finish, equaling his career best result at the time and contributing to McLaren's first top 2 finish in Monaco since 2008. In Canada and Spain, Oscar continued scoring points with a 5th in Canada and a 7th in Spain, maintaining consistency. Then, things got spicy in Austria. He benefited from Norris and Verstappen fighting in the sprint and finished second, and during the main race, Norris and Verstappen collided and Piastri finished second again. At Silverstone, a tactical error by McLaren cost him a shot at victory. They waited too long to pit him and it cost him dearly. They should have double stacked him, although he admitted that that was a hard call. At the Hungarian Grand Prix, he claimed his first Grand Prix win, but McLaren ruined the victory with some team drama. Norris gained the lead due to a pit stop timing decision, but was instructed to yield to Piastri, who had led earlier. It was Lando Norris being awkward that made the win a little weird. But then again, Piastri didn't come close to Norris and went off track for a bit too. I think McLaren was blamed the most for pitting Norris first. Not the best way to win, but you take them as they come. Then Belgium and the Netherlands. He finished second in Belgium and fourth in the Netherlands. In Monza, he pipped his teammate, but allowed Leclerc through, who won by going for a one-stop. In Baku, he won his second race, with, for me, the overtake of the season on Charles Leclerc. Then, the Singapore Grand Prix, he qualified 5th and finished 3rd, gaining 2 places for his 9th career podium. At the United States and the Mexican Grand Prix, Piastri finished 5th in the US and recovered from a 17th place qualifying in Mexico to finish 8th place. At the very wet Sao Paulo Grand Prix, he qualified on pole for the sprint, but was ordered to cede the lead to Norris, finishing 8th in the main race after a penalty for colliding with Liam Lawson. He did give up his position to Norris twice during that race. In Abu Dhabi, Max Verstappen hit him in turn 1, and that was the move of a world champion according to him. And then he ended the season with a 10th place finish, helping McLaren clinch the Constructors' Championship. So there you have it, a season full of great performances, but also filled with missed opportunities by him and his team. He finished the season in a very decent 4th position in the standings, and it set him up nicely for 2025. Can Piastri win the championship? Well, yes. He has the consistency so far. Piastri's 100% Q3 rate and lap completion record show his reliability and ability to get performance from the McLaren MCL39. He has the race pace, he improved significantly from his rookie year, and that showed last year with standout performances in Hungary and Azerbaijan, showing he can lead and defend under pressure. However, it all depends on whether the cars stay the way they are now. I think he has the best chance. However, I hear McLaren is bringing upgrades that might see Norris getting back into the fight. And Red Bull is going full whack to please Max Verstappen for his title bid as well. A lot is riding on the TD coming in from Spain onwards too. Red Bull believes it would hamper McLaren and make the RB21 dominant again. As you all know, I'm a Dutch Max fanboy and I'm hoping for this scenario. But I promise I won't be too upset if Piastri wins, as long as there aren't too many of the mind games being played by Zach Brown and Andrea Stella. Max, Lando and Oscar get along fine, and they fight on track. I always hate seeing team principals and CEOs stir the pot, hoping to gain something. I'm hoping for a nice clean Verstappen championship, and if that's not possible, a nice clean Oscar Piastri championship. Subscribe. Take care now. Doei doei.